We are officially less than 100 days from the largest construction family reunion in North America. That's right, ConExpo ConAg is going to be here before we know it. See and test the new equipment. Ask the technical experts. Find out what your business will be using tomorrow. Make the connections that matter. If you haven't registered yet, there's still time to secure your tickets. Visit conexpoconag.com or click the link in the show notes and use promo code podcast20 to get 20% off. That's right, 20% off with promo code podcast20. If you already have your tickets to the show, join us in counting down and comment on our daily commercial news, Journal of Commerce, at Construction Record Podcast, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram feeds to let us know you're going to be there and what you're most excited to see. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Five Pods of Xmas. I am digital media editor Warren Fry, and with me today I have
Don Wall, staff writer, Daily Commercial News over in Ontario. How are you doing, Warren?
Good. You have had a busy year, my friend, particularly with labor issues in Ontario, because there's been a whole lot of that. But I mean, let's talk about that and all the other stuff you saw in 2022 that you'd like to reflect on.
Yeah. Well, you start the year and, every 3 years, the collective bargaining agreements are up. That's the way Ontario does it, just to try to keep some coherence so people aren't striking every 6 months. So 25 of the trades that we follow, their contracts were all going to come to an end at the end of April. So that's an exciting time. We start off early in the year asking what issues may arise. And of course, with rising costs, wages were going to be a big issue. We anticipated that. And there's a certain series of protocols that they follow. Some trades look for one or two to take leadership. The electrical workers, they were early on. They started off with a first couple of months they set the mark and all the other unions followed. So here was the thing that was interesting. Normally, you speak to both sides. You speak to the employers. You speak to the union leaders, and they are, they come up with, they say, yep, we got a deal. It just remains to be ratified. So they say, okay, what are the details? You assume it's done. This year, one after another, these deals were rejected. I think it was 8 tentative agreements were rejected. So it was a shocking development, really. Confident union leaders, 30 years in the business, had never had this happen before. I think somebody said, "Oh yeah, 96 something might have happened." So it really changed the pace of the negotiations. You think, okay, these guys have settled, those guys have settled. Here are the wages, not so fast. So kind of week by week we'd do a survey, or of course midweek we'd check in on the stakeholders, and you never knew what you were going to hear. It was those kind of cool developments along those lines.
And what else did you see? I mean, actually, this springs to mind. Also, a lot of those same labor leaders supported Doug Ford, which was also a big surprise in the election in summer.
Yeah. Just to wrap up, so what happened was, it was all related. The election campaign was going on. And in June 2nd, I believe, was the campaign. Here we were in April and May, and there were a bunch of strikes going on. There were 5 strikes in ICI totaling 60 days. Carpenters, demolition workers, glaziers. So you'd want to be talking to. I have good relationships with some of the union leaders, and you're saying, so what's going on? Can you talk about it? And it's in the context of an election campaign. And, at the best of times, during negotiations, people don't want to divulge what their strategies are or say anything. They're very tight-lipped. One guy in Sarnia, kind of spoke out of turn, and that's bulletin board material kind of thing. So, so this was happening. So unprecedented delays, as they say, these 8 tentative agreements rejected. Finally, they came along. So I asked Mike York, head of the Carpenters, so what went on this year? What's going on? part of it is a transition to younger workers. I think the stat was 51% of members of the carpenters are apprentices and the rest are journeymen. So that's very young group of people. So what's happening? So they're involved in their first contract negotiations. They're not used to saying, oh, our leadership tells us to vote for this. Let's all line up and vote for it. So that, they weren't doing that. They have their own, it was discussed. They have their own, social media. They're discussing things, amongst themselves. They're getting excited, and so they're hearing, okay, 3% raise. You know what? I just filled up my truck and I'm driving to Toronto from Hamilton. And it just cost me $150 to fill up my truck, and I just did that 3 days ago. I don't think 3% is going to work for me. So all of a sudden, upheaval, surprises. Finally, though, by throughout the summer and into the fall, wages rose between 5 and 9% per hour. Okay, so at the meantime, some of these unions, LiUNA had some striking workers, but LiUNA and a handful of other unions, Boilermakers, IBW, painters, so they all came out in favor of Doug Ford and the Conservatives. All this was going on. So you're lots of different stories, lots of intrigue. What seemed like for a while there, one new union per day was coming out and supporting Ford. So, I spoke to the Mancinellis with LiUNA, and so the issues are, well, one they had, it was definitely personal, no disguising it. The leader of the Liberals was Del Duca, since gone, but he was Carpenter's executive in the final months of the Liberals regime back in 2018. He was responsible. It's quite well known. Jurisdictions were changed, giving a lot of work to the Carpenters and taking it away from LiUNA. That was LiUNA was never going to support Del Duca, so they liked, so that there was antipathy there, and they just liked the agenda. Even if you're building tons of transit, you're building tons of roads. Some might argue, they're at polar opposites in terms of, reducing greenhouse gases, sprawling up into the Bradford bypass, 401, 413. These are all extensions going north of Toronto, belching some greenhouse gases, but, it's a lot of work for unions. They said, and they loved the way the Minister of Labor, Monty McNaughton, tons of consulting, reforming the skilled trades, working with the unions in providing new programs. So things, so that was, it all added up. Yeah, all these people lined up to support the Ford government. And they said, well, if an issue arises, we reserve our right to disagree. So Ford gets elected. What happens in the fall? So QP workers, teaching assistants, they were on strike. So the Ford government, passes back to work legislation with the notwithstanding clause. So, before that, a few people can speak knowledgeably about the notwithstanding clause. Now every union member understood what rights it took away and how an egregious an affront it was. So they all these same unions lined up and took to the pavement, and within a week, Ford government backtracked. So in a sense, these unions and say we remain the right to disagree on different issues, issue by issue, and so this was a good example of that. So as you see, throughout the year, lots of lots of surprises and developments. Ontario's building trades unions are right in the middle of had their thumb in the middle of a lot of issues, provided us with good readership. We know even during the collective bargaining session, they're on their Facebook sites, their social media sites, they're saying, hey, the bricklayers got this raise. How come we're not doing that? What's going on? And they link to our stories, so we know, okay, let's keep those stories coming. People are eager for information. It's breaking by the hour. Sometimes you get a phone call in the middle, 10 in the morning. Somebody texts me, this happened. Okay, these guys are going on strike the next day. So, of course, that's livelihoods, that's paychecks, and anyway, an exciting time and an important period. And so that was 2022, and things kept on going right through to the end of the year. Really different new developments. So yeah, that was the beat I covered all year. Enjoyed it a lot, and you're in the middle of making history and developing good relationships and finding out what's important to employers and employees. So lots of good stuff from my end.
And just to ask what you think is going to happen in 2023, or more accurately, how you think maybe the stuff that you cover with labor or anything else is going to sort of play out in 2023. What trends do you see?
Yeah, well, you know what? Continuing on with the theme, so right near the end of the year, so there's the building trades unions. They announced two new unions joining the fold. One is the bricklayers, and just last week, I believe it was, or 2 weeks ago, LIUNA, the largest trade union in Ontario. So there was a signing agreement. It was kind of all laid on north of Toronto. And so LIUNA, after 5 years absence from the Building Trades Council, has rejoined them. And to me, that's so I talked to Arsenault and a representative, Mark Arsenault of the Building Trades, and a representative of LIUNA, and they have a lot on the go. There are more resources, more numbers, and there's lots of things. Arsenault laid out a pretty good agenda where lots of collaboration going into the new year. So not only dealing with workforce issues, health and safety issues, working on a national level with different groups. So I think we'll see, policy movement and continued collaboration, and a sign that these, unions are saying it's better when we work together rather than work separately. So that was a sign just, in late November, and expect to see more of that in the new year.
Okay, Don, on that happy note, happy-ish note anyway, Merry Christmas to you, and happy holidays to everybody, and we'll see you in the new year.
Okay, and Merry Christmas to you and to our readers, listeners as well.